Are you ready to learn how to reveal your true beauty, radiate self-confidence, and reclaim the love and life you desire? And I have to attribute her to my good health and setting me on that journey to great health. And so I want to welcome everyone, my dear friend, Judy Crowell. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Michelle. It's so good to be here. I was so honored when you said, Judy, it's the end of the year. We're turning a corner. People can't wait for a new year at the end of their date, 2021. Would you be my guest on my last show of the year? And I said, I would love to. It's just perfect timing. And you're right. I think so many people need that positivity, that motivation that you can do it. And I said in my little promo, using what you said earlier about your show, I said, bring your New Year's resolutions with you.
Yes. Oh, please. Yes. And please share with us what they are. We'd love to read them in the comment section. And also, if you guys have any questions for Judy, please feel free to ask. Because, I think for a lot of us this year, I will speak for myself and some very close people to me. It's been really challenging to stay healthy. A lot of us have what I call, I know me, the COVID 8 pounds. It tends to go up and down. I'll lose it and then I gain it again because, we're spending more time at home, eating a little bit more, drinking more wine. Not necessarily doing the workout, routines that we used to.
Right.
So, what are some of your tips for us all to kind of break those bad habits and hit that reset button for the new year?
It's a good question. And your experience and that COVID 8 that you call it, you're not alone, because so many people have said the same thing. And I do go to a local class, a local bar studio. But even some of the instructors have said, they're not teaching 24/7, and some of them only teach once or twice a week.
Yeah.
But they're on their computers the other amount of time because they have other jobs.
Yeah.
And they said, I'm just so frustrated. I'm not moving as much. At least I'm coming to class once or twice a week to teach you guys. But even the professionals or the experts, if you will, run into that same problem. And what I would say, because we are home more, we're working from home, we're eating at home, we're not going out to as many restaurants, we're not doing as much shopping. The malls are pretty much, desolate. So we need to get a little bit of time away from the computer. In other words, I think we're not only at home longer, we're actually working longer, because since you're home, you're getting up first thing in the morning. You might even still be in your pajamas, but you get on the computer and you start to work. Before you know it, it's 11:30 in the morning and you're still sitting in your pajamas, or 2 o'clock in the afternoon in some cases. And then at night, somebody is trying to drag you away from the computer because they're waiting to have dinner with you. And then you're on the computer again until perhaps 11 or 12 at night. And in all that time, we don't realize how much time is going by. So I would say use your phone and set a timer, or go to the oven and set a timer, and set that timer for an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever you're comfortable with. Get a lot of work done in that time. But when that timer goes off, shut the computer, step away from it, and perhaps even turn on my YouTube channel or someone else's channel that you love to work out to. I would also suggest, and I've done a video, Michelle, on how to use your smart TV to watch my YouTube videos, because it's so nice to be able to go hands-free. And if you look at your television, which is what you use to watch TV already, and you're in your living room, or your smart TV is in your bedroom, and you have enough room to move the length of your body. So if you're 5'2" or you're 5'9" or 10, make that space available to you so that you can lie down, kneel, stand, move your arms, and move side to side. If you can start that video and you can go for 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, depending on how long that video is that you're watching, you feel so much better. You've taken in some nice deep breaths. You've calmed down, you've de-stressed, and you've moved. And the key is the not moving part. that's where we start to get achy. We start to put the pounds on. And before you know it, yeah, you feel like, oh my gosh, my jeans don't fit the way they used to. What happened?
Right.
So I think it's really important. And then when you sit back down to the computer, do the same routine all over again. Set that timer, because we do, time gets away from us. We run out of that mindset of, wait, how can it be that time already? How did it get to be 5 o'clock and I'm still in my pajamas?
Oh, I know. And we take showers every night at like 5:30, my husband and I, because like you said, we get out of bed at 7 o'clock in the morning and we're straight to the computer because we're busy working. And there's many moms and dads at home that are homeschooling their kids as well. I mean, there's a lot going on for people in their homes, and they're not necessarily getting up and switching up the routine, which is what I love about your videos, because they're 10 minutes long. And I do the bar 3 classes, which is similar to your bar, because of course, whatever you recommend is what I do. Like 5 years ago, I said, Judy, what are you doing? And she said, oh, I started doing the bar class. And so I checked out, there's a bar 3 class near me. So I am hooked on that. And it's just such really good core work. But I do feel like I need the strength training too, because it's really important for me to kind of switch it up as well. Because years ago, my mom, who really hasn't worked out much her entire life, she fell. And when she fell and she had to have a knee replacement, I watched her struggle, and because she didn't have the strength to pull herself up, even though she was young and vibrant and healthy, she wasn't building muscle strength over the years. And so, one of the questions I really want to ask you is, with your workout videos, which are really simple, by the way, and like you use low weights, 2 to 3 pounds. Can anyone start at any age?
That's a good question. And yes, you can. The only thing I will tell you, and I'll preface my answer with, A, I'm not a doctor, and B, I'm not a therapist. I am a trainer, I am a teacher, and I can show you the moves to do and even talk you through how to do them and where you should feel it. Because a lot of people will say, well, I'm moving my arms, but nothing's happening here. So I talk you through in the videos. For instance, you talked about the low weights. So these are 2-pound weights, and I have 3-pound weights, and I have a set of 5-pound weights. But you don't have to have a lot of extra weight in order to get that resistance that we're talking about. If I do this, you can see the biceps, you can see the shoulders, and you can even see the muscles in my forearms working, because I'm not doing this. I'm doing this, and I'm giving myself resistance. It's almost like you're thinking about yourself moving through water, or if you're going in this direction, you can have resistance, and you can do weight training, and you can build muscle tone without building mass, so you can still fit into your clothes, just starting out with light weights. So I like to encourage women to start that way, because it's also a way to avoid injury. Some people will say, oh yeah, I worked out when I was younger. I know how to do this. So I'm going to start with 5-pound weights. And then suddenly, like, wait, what's going on with my elbow here? I think
my shoulder. From doing that years ago.
And guess what that causes? That means that you have to not work out then for 3 or 4 days until you let that part of your body heal and feel better, because the last thing you want to do is overtax an injury. So then you're back into that whole therapy side again. So you want to keep the momentum going. And that reminds me that I decided to try to do 10 and 15-minute workouts because of that very reason. First, people don't have the time. Second, they say, just to set aside a whole hour to work out.
Mentally, you just go, I don't have it.
I don't have it, or I don't want it.
You could easily go an hour, but mentally,
and or exercise bores me, or I don't know what I'm doing. And that's the other thing that I think is kind of neat about being able to do these workouts now in your home. I started the channel Judy Crowell Style, and on that there's a playlist called Get Fit with Judy. And I have almost 40 videos on it. And I started it a year ago, and I had no idea that COVID was in our near future. But the irony was the timing was such that okay, gyms started to close and studios started to close and everybody was being kept inside. So what did we do? And we didn't have a lot of space, or we didn't have a lot of money to go out and spend on a $2,000 piece of equipment, much less a $500 piece or a mirror that cost a few thousand. So I love the idea and I love the virtual training, but if you wanted to do something right away so that you could keep that momentum that you've started going, the videos are really easy and all my equipment is so inexpensive. I actually have a fitness store, Michelle, on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
And all you have to do is go, like you were going to Amazon.com and then slash Judy Crowell, I think it's slash shop Judy Crowell style. So everything I have on social media is Judy Crowell style. But if you go to Amazon.com slash shop slash Judy Crowell style, you'll be able to see the fitness. And I have the dumbbells, I have resistance bands, I have exercise balls, all these things, very inexpensive mats, yoga mats that you can use to help motivate you to do these exercises.
Exactly. I think we actually have the same set.
We do. I got that.
Amazon, really cute. But I realized that because I used to have all the expensive equipment and they just became, things to hang my clothes on.
Exactly. Coat hangers.
But Glenna has a really good question.
Okay.
She said, how often should you exercise? Every day or every other day? It's a good question.
It is a good question. And because my workouts are so short, you can work out every day and not overdo it.
Okay.
So yeah. And if you're, I have found though, it's interesting because if you do an hour a day, you might feel like, okay, I'm going to do every other day because I do want to give myself a rest in between. And that's not at all a bad idea. We can all easily overdo it. And I was telling you about the fact that I had found some pain in my shoulder lately. And that's why I said, even the experts kind of get to that point where none of us is immune from overdoing it. But you want to stretch. That's the other thing I highly recommend. I've done some stretching exercises just so that people know that once you have contracted those muscles, you've got to stretch them back out again. And that's another great way to avoid injury. So every day is fine. Something that you asked me too, the last time we did this together was sometimes I've heard, okay, I should do triceps and biceps one day, and I should do hips and thighs another day, and I should do abs another day. I've always felt like, especially with arms, I've done arms every day of my life because I put in a 5-minute song and I do a workout and it's 5 minutes and I'm finished. But because I've gotten it in every day, that accumulation is fabulous over the long haul, as opposed to, I really don't feel like doing it. Okay, so I'll just wait and do it tomorrow. 5 minutes. And everybody has a favorite song.
And when you're using the lower pound weights.
Yes.
Right. So for example, when I first started working out, and I did go to a personal trainer many years ago before I met you, and they had me using really heavy weights, 8 to 10 to 15 pound weights. And I think that's one of the reasons I stopped was because first of all, I was getting bulkier.
Yes.
So my shirts and my jackets weren't fitting properly.
Yeah.
And then it was like, the first day was, biceps and triceps, then it was back and I don't know, something else. And I just thought, oh my gosh, it was so, such extreme weight. And I felt a lot of achiness, a lot of pain. I think that's how I permanently, hurt my shoulders, my knees. So now when I do the 2-pound weights, when I'm working out with your workouts, I feel it in my muscle area.
Right.
As opposed to in my elbow or my wrist or my shoulder or my lower back. And so I think it's so important what you're teaching, and also smaller increments. So that way you can do you have so many different arm workouts. You can do a different one every day if you want. And then you also, I wanted to talk about the target areas, that like the tummy area, the arm, this for me, the arm flap. I'm like, what is that? So do you do videos for that as well, for those target areas, a little bit trickier?
Yes. And another friend of mine said, I need you to do a video on back fat.
Yeah.
She was going to an event and she had this dress and she hadn't tried it on in a while. And her husband was zipping it up and he didn't want to hurt her feelings, but he also didn't want to break the zipper on the dress. So she said, I really need to work on that. What do you have? So I did a specific video on back fat. Another woman said, I have those bat wings. How do I get rid of those bat wings?
Yeah.
I will tell you that exercise is not a panacea. It's not going to cure all ills, and it's not going to, it alone is not going to get you in the shape you want to be.
Right.
But if you have discipline and you want it badly enough, and you're willing to practice portion control, because one of your other questions to me in the lineup that you gave was also about diet.
Yep.
And we've all been down that road where we were frustrated enough to try any diet that came along. If there was a grapefruit diet, we'd get on it. If there was a protein diet, we'd get on it. If there was a fasting diet, we'd get on it. The problem is, over the long haul, we can't live like that. We can't sustain eating like that. A, it's just not normal. And B, it's not healthy.
No.
So if you can not have to deprive yourself of that wine you love or of that cupcake you want to eat, or treat yourself over the holidays or at somebody's birthday to a piece of cake.
Yeah.
The thing to do is cut down. If you can cut down your portions, that will help tremendously. And it surprises me when I talk to people about that, and men especially, they think, really, that would work? Like if I just cut down on the amount that I eat? And I said, well, yeah, I mean, it's logical if you think about it. So if you think about going to a restaurant and they serve you a meal, and you cut that chicken portion or whatever the protein is in half, cut the vegetables in half, have a little slice or half of a slice of whatever that dessert is, over time, when you start seeing the weight come off, you'll start to say, you know what, I'm just gonna have a bite of that. I don't need the whole thing. I don't even need the whole half of that slice of cake. But the other thing to do, because you need your energy throughout the day. We need energy for our minds and we need energy for our bodies to function. If you can have good, healthy snacks around the house, if you can have an apple, even if you don't want to eat the whole apple, and you get that peckish feeling, as the British would say, cut the apple in half, put the other half of the apple back in a plastic bag, zip it up and it won't get brown, and eat that. But or even baby carrots, nice sweet baby carrots. Even if you wanted to put a little ranch or blue cheese dressing on them, you're eating something good for yourself, and you're spreading out those meals throughout the day. Your body can then process it and use it for energy without packing it on, because by the end of the day, you're so hungry that you'll just eat everything in sight and not listen to your body say, stop, close that mouth. I don't need any more down here in my tummy.
Or even a lot of people, like when I met my husband, Rick, when we first started dating, he was traveling around the country. He would be flying from one city to the next and land late at night, have dinner late. So he would go all day without eating. I eat very similar to what you're talking about. I eat protein and vegetables all day long, and I eat every 2 to 3 hours. And when I do that, it revs up my metabolism. Exactly. And so I eat pretty much what I want, but I don't touch fried foods, and I don't eat like butter sauces or heavy cream sauce or anything like that. I just, I eat pretty much though anything else. And so when Rick and I, like year after we met, we started living together, he was eating my, every 2 hours, and eating, the normal protein, vegetables, and then healthy carbs, not white rice, get brown rice or wild rice, just the very simple stuff. He lost over 30 pounds.
Wow.
Quickly. Because he was starving himself during the day. A lot of people do that. They think if they don't eat much, and then they just eat at the end of the day, that, or if they just don't eat much at all. And what happens is your metabolism starts shutting down.
Exactly. Because your body thinks it's starving.
Yeah. So every time, we travel and we're on this crazy schedule and we eat heavier foods, and, I come back with my, my 5 to 6 pound bloat, I call it. I just go right back to that eat a protein, small, the size of the palm of your hand,
Exactly.
2 cups of vegetables, like every couple hours. And 2 cups of vegetables is just like 2 handfuls of veggies, and like you said, have the snacks around. And my weight goes down a lot quicker because the exercise is great. But I've recently had a girlfriend say, I am working out every day and I'm really sticking to it, but I am not losing weight. So what would you say? Diet is about 80% of it?
I think it's a lot of it. Yeah. And that's why I say when you want to tone and shape and rev up your metabolism, that exercise is very, very important, but it's also great to help avoid anything as far as health related concerns, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels, cancer, all of those sorts of things also are a product of not staying in shape, not working out, not eating right, not quitting smoking. In fact, one of the things I thought about was if I could, those ads that come on TV with people, men and women, who are breathing through a tube and their skin is wrinkled and they're having trouble talking and they're real people and they are saying to you, if I only knew that this is what I would be like, this is how I would be living. 30 years ago, if somebody had only told me or shown me a picture of myself, I would have understood and stopped. We all think it's not going to happen to us. That poor person who's way hunched over, that poor person who fell and broke her hip due to osteoporosis, that poor person who can't breathe or doesn't have any energy or has to have surgery because their heart just isn't working the way that, it needs to. If there's something that you could know now that you could avoid down the road because we took what like Scrooge's Christmas future, and we showed you a picture, you say, oh my gosh, I'm so glad somebody said something now, because it doesn't take that much to start a new habit, to get into a good habit, to take that 15 minutes away from the computer and turn on a video and just listen to the music, listen to the guidance and move a little bit more. And then take that to heart when it comes to your food. As you said, multiple small meals throughout the day, cutting those portions in half, but it's got to start up here, Michelle.
Yeah. Oh, yes. You have to make a commitment to yourself.
You have to want it badly enough that regardless of what's going on around you or what other people say to you, it's got to be for you. You're not doing this for anybody else. Think about that person down the line, 20, 30 years from now, because everybody is, thanks to modern medicine, living longer. How do you want the quality of that life to be? It's never too late. Even if you do it slowly, even if you do it sitting in a chair, some kind of additional movement to rev up your metabolism.
You could do a lot of your videos sitting in a chair. For example, for my mom, who's someone that, she's in her late 70s, and she said she picked up the 2-pound weights and started doing the exercises sitting in her chair.
Great.
It's so important. And, a lot of people have said to me, because, I coach people, I take them through this process I teach in my book, is really to identify who you are and what you want out of life, according to what's important to you.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't even know what's important to them anymore because they're so busy taking care of everybody else that they're living a life for someone else. So when they start identifying, oh, this is really what I want, these are my needs, and I need to start honoring those, because if I don't, I am becoming a very unhealthy, unhappy person. And so a lot of people have come up with excuses. When I take them through the process, initially the excuses are, well, I can't do this because, my family, if they're not going to eat like this, or my husband won't do this, or other people won't do this. And I always just give them that challenge. Just go ahead and do it for yourself for 7 days, and, invite them to join you, but, just cook healthier, change your mindset, make that time for yourself. It's incredible, the shifts. There are 3 clients I have for sure that I could name right off the top that are now personal trainers.
Wow.
Or one who just even entered a bodybuilding contest and won last year.
Wow.
Not just because of that type of thing, but because she actually wanted to lose 50 pounds. It was like 2 years ago. Casey, who is probably going to watch this video because she's just a doll, and she and I work together a lot. But Casey, she just started to take care of herself because her husband was in the military, serving overseas. She had 2 young children. She had every excuse in the book not to take care of herself because she was really busy being a single mom with her husband being deployed. And then he came back injured. Let me tell you, when she focused and said, you know what, I do have to take care of me first, because if I don't, I cannot properly take care of anyone else. If she doesn't have her health, what does she have, right? And so I think your message is so important, especially now, Judy, because now is the chance for us to go into a new year. We all want to hit that reset button. We all want 2021 to be completely different than last year. And we want to be healthy.
Yes.
And that's so, and there's also a connection to your mindset when you work out.
Yes, exactly. You sleep better.
Yeah.
You can deal with stress a lot better. And something that I wanted to piggyback on when you were talking about your kids and your family and doing things for everybody else, what do they say on a plane when they go through the rundown at the very, very beginning and they say, now there's a life vest underneath it, should that happen and you need to use it. There's an oxygen mask that drops down from the overhead compartment. Be sure to put the mask on yourself first before helping others around you. You need to be in the kind of shape, being able to breathe, being able to think, being able to function, being able to rationalize before you can help anybody else. So that as an analogy popped into my head when you said that. And then going back to the very, very beginning of the show, when we were talking about setting a timer and stepping away from the computer and going to do something physical, do something active. I would say the same thing to all the moms and grandmoms and dads and granddads who are homeschooling their children. Those children need to move too. They have all this pent up energy. And if they're not in school, or they're not going to a gym class, they're not going to ballroom dance lessons, they're not doing gymnastics because everything's shut down, they still need to move. They need to work out that energy. So it's just as important to be a role model for those people in your family and in your life. And so they may not think they're going to eat like you do, but if you show them day after day after day, this is a healthier way to live, this is a healthier way to behave, this is a healthier way to eat, then they'll say, wow, that's, it's really important to her. And look at how she's acting, look at her attitude, look at her sleeping, look at her smile. It's all back because you're so much better. And then they say, gosh, just like you did with me. How are you doing it? How are you staying in shape?
Yes.
They'll start looking at you the same way.
Exactly.
But it's got to start here and it's got to start here.
Yeah. Our kids follow what they see in the home more than what they see outside of the house. And I have 3 beautiful kids, and my son lives in California. He's always been very active, but my girls also, they are very healthy eaters, and they both go to the gym and work out. And so, they're in their mid 20s now. And it's because I set an example and took them with me to the gym and cooked healthy at home. And so they've learned. They've got the tools, which is why we're doing this show. We want to share these tools with everyone. And, again, taking it back to de-stressing and taking care of yourself, you will sleep better. I think that's so important too for me is if I don't work out, I don't feel good. I don't sleep well. Fear, anxiety, stress can creep up easily. Whereas when I work out and I exercise, it all kind of dissipates for me.
Yes.
I think it's really important for everyone to think about how they want to move forward, how they want to commit to themselves, and how they can spend 10 minutes a day, honey, with Judy.
Well, you're right. And when you
Of a deal. It really, your workouts are just, you make it so simple for people.
Oh, I'm really glad, because I think there are a lot of people who tune into them out of curiosity to start, and then maybe, going and buying a set of weights and saying, all right, let me try this. And even if you don't know what you're doing, or it's been a long time since you have done any kind of workout, I really do walk you through it. And as I said, even with the stretching, I tell you, okay, this is going to feel really good in the back of your thighs, in the back of your back. This is where you should feel it. And the reason I've started to do that, not only from my training and teaching experience, but a friend of mine had done one of my videos, and she said, you talk about this runner's lunge. I'm trying to do it, but I don't know where I'm supposed to be feeling it. Can you show me what you're doing? So now I say, okay, stretch out, make sure that the knee is tracking right over the ankle, but pull that back leg as far back as you can so that the back leg is straight. Feel a nice stretch through the quad muscle and through the groin area. You need to stretch everything out because you just contracted it and you don't want to leave it in a tight form. So just stretch it out, and this is where you should feel it. She said, oh, now that makes sense. So now I try not to take anything for granted that people don't necessarily know. But the other nice thing about the videos is you're in your own home, or maybe you're in a hotel room. You turn on the video. Nobody's there around you to judge you. Nobody's comparing themselves to you, and you're not having to compare yourself to anybody else. Whether you know what you're doing or you don't, there's no need to be embarrassed or even to have to ask a question of someone to say, I don't want to do it because I don't want anybody to see that I have no idea what I'm doing. Because that's how easy I want to make it, that everybody can do it. Now, do people have limitations? Yes. And if you are just starting to work out in your 50s or 60s or even 70s and 80s, then you might say to yourself, oh, well, I don't want to injure myself. And if you have had an injury in the past, you might be a little bit hesitant to try it again. But if you can go slowly, if you can listen to your body, only allow yourself to do what your body feels comfortable doing, challenge it, but don't injure it. You want that good challenge, but not a pain, not a twinge. And the other thing
go ahead. You could probably do it with even without weights.
You can. And I've also talked about the fact that you can grab a couple of soup cans from your pantry.
Yeah.
Those are 3/4 pound, 0.75.
Oh.
So that's very close to a 1 pound weight. And that's also, it's a good way to feel like, okay, now I know what this is supposed to feel like, to have something in my hands. And now when she says, feel like you're coming through water, you go, okay, I'm thinking about, or think about somebody pushing that side back down again. Give your own self resistance. Exactly. But when you're talking about, the way that you're sleeping and the way that, and your attitude and the fact that you're not feeling stressed because you've worked some of that off, think about also how good you feel and how proud you are when you've worked out. I always say at the end of my videos, you're a rock star and you should be so proud of yourself because you're making progress, even if it's a little bit a healthy way at a time. The way you feel in your clothes, the way your shoulders come back, the attitude that you have that, hey, I did something today. I was productive, and it wasn't just hunched over at a computer. It wasn't just doing something for somebody else.
And then you eat better.
Yeah.
Like, I wake up in the morning, I try to work out in the morning. If I have a crazy schedule in the morning, I at least, like you do, I set a timer. So 4:00, I'm done. I go work out. But I can miss workouts if I do the afternoon thing sometimes because things can pop up with work and blah, blah, blah. But if I do it in the morning, I'm more apt to do it, even if I just do a 10-minute with you. And I'm like, okay, because sometimes I like to do 2 of your videos.
Oh, good.
Yeah, like an arm workout, and then maybe, do more like the legs. But also, you will eat better if you've put the work in. You're not going to sabotage what you just did. You're going to think differently about what you eat. And it's just hand in hand. It's just such a good thing to start your day.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good thing. And then at the end of the night, when I drink wine, I don't feel as guilty.
That's right. Me too.
That's the other thing Judy and I love to do is drink wine when we get together. I don't know. Did you bring yours? Because I've got some bubbly here.
I did. I have my glass all set up and ready for the toast.
If anybody has any questions for Judy, would love for you guys to put them in the comments section. So
a lot of the customers that I saw or your followers are names that I recognize, and they follow both Paul and me on our Sunday Fun Day shows on Facebook also. And they always know that we toast to each other, we toast to life, and we toast to them. And so I always feel like it's such a good thought process to appreciate, every day, because we never know what tomorrow is going to bring. Yeah. And sure. Speaking of that, it's also appreciating little things. When I was on vacation, we just got back from a trip, and I was in a foreign country, and I had started wearing contact lenses a couple of years ago because I was having trouble in the studios being able to read my cards with all my information and little cheat notes on it. And I kept going further and further back. And to be honest, I was too vain. I couldn't find a good pair of glasses that I thought looked good. So I thought, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I guess I need to start learning to wear contact lenses. Well, at this stage of the game, and even though the eye doctor had said, oh, women are my best patients, it's almost like going to a gym and somebody saying, oh yeah, come on in, just start using the equipment. And you think to yourself, but I don't know what I'm doing. What is that? What that machine looks like? It hurts a lot. It looks scary. Is it this way? Is it for arms? Is it for legs? Well, he said, oh yeah, women are my best patients because they wear makeup and they're used to having, mascara around their eyes. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I struggled and cried and cried and cried. So when I finally would get a contact lens in, be kind of, oh, wait, did I just do that? Can I see better now? Oh yeah, I actually can see better. But it took me so long to get ready. I would have to get ready an hour before my 2 hours of getting ready to go on air just to make sure I could get all the tears off my face from crying so long of, getting these contact lenses in. Well, now they're fine. They're great. They work well. I've been using them for a couple years, but here I am. I'm always a long-winded storyteller. So here I am on vacation. We went to Belize.
I know. Our Sunday Fun Day last week was so fun.
So one night, I didn't listen to myself and to my body and to my eyes well enough that they were tired. They were starting to hurt, but we were getting ready to watch a show. So I just thought, oh yeah, I'll take the contacts out after we do our little binge watching. Well, that night when I went to take my contact lens out, I don't know what happened. I saw it come out. I put it in the little thing, but I had a terrible sharp pain in my eye. Didn't have an eye wash. So I'm trying to use water. Long story short, that whole night, Michelle, it got worse and worse and worse. I must have gotten a half an hour of sleep the entire night because every time I would think I was getting comfortable, that sharp pain would shoot. My eye was shut closed. And when I looked in the mirror, it was 3 times the size of my other eye. I was so scared. I think I actually have had a panic attack. My whole body was shaking. I was so scared. What am I going to do the next day? Yeah. I don't want somebody to pry this eyelid open. I know they're going to have to do that in order to see what's inside. I speak the language, but by the same token, I don't know who to go to, who to trust. What are they going to write? So I just got myself into a tailspin. Well, the next morning, I was bound and determined that before I went to see anybody, I was going to open this eye myself. So and in the middle of the night, oh my gosh, the things we do. So in the middle of the night, Paul was sleeping. I didn't want to bother him. Bless his heart. He'd given me compresses, cold compresses, I washcloths, then hot compresses. He didn't know how to help. So I got up in the middle of the night and I thought, all right, I'm just going to like try to pour water. I'm going to take the shower and pour water to try to rinse it out. Mm-hmm. I couldn't. Any drop of water made it sting more.
Oh my gosh.
All I can say is I did force it open. I just said, and I ran into the other room. Paul, look, my eye, it's open. I'm seeing. And I was so afraid that I might not ever be able to see out of it.
Oh, I know, scary.
So I said, look, it's open. I'm afraid to blink because I'm afraid it won't open again. So we were able to not have a problem. I was able to get some little bacterial drops. Yeah. And within 24 hours, I was back to normal. You'd never know anything had happened. The language down there is English. So I was able to ask and they knew where to direct me. But the point of this whole story is, and I said, I am never going to take my eyes for granted again. So I go back to my Scrooge Christmas future story. If you knew what was down the road and you said, if I only didn't take my health or my arms or my legs or my hips or my knees or my elbows or my shoulders or my eyes for granted, and I did something to listen to my body, and when it says, if you're, and I hate to be too graphic, but by the same token, I don't know who's watching today who we might be able to help.
That's right.
And I would say to you, if you're bleeding from a place that is unnatural, don't just live with it. Don't just think, oh, well, because we do make excuses. If you find a bump or a lump somewhere, don't make excuses. Either talk to your spouse, talk to a friend, and if you're afraid, have them go with you to find out what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, you can't deal with it. And your health is something that we can't take it for granted. We just don't know.
My father played tennis 5 days a week. Excellent shape. He had blood in his stool. Didn't go to the doctor. He passed away from stage 4 colon cancer. He was in great shape. So yes, your message is extremely important. If we don't have our health, we have nothing. Nothing.
If you're hurting anywhere, that's all you can think about. When you're not hurting, you take for granted everything that is around you that's normal, and that, that's just the way it is. Don't take it for granted. Appreciate. And that's what 2021 should be.
Yes, it should be. Appreciation. Gratitude has been my life savior this forever, but this year even more. I'm focusing on what I'm grateful for. I'm focusing on my good health, my family, my great friends, this opportunity here, just to be able to be here on Facebook Live and share and to have these conversations. I totally agree with you and Paul, and what you say is to, toast and in appreciation for the people that are joining us and our friendships and our connections. Because if we're able to do this, we're able to hopefully help others out there. That's my wish. That's the reason I'm doing it, the reason you're doing it. And plus, it's just so darn fun to hang out with you.
You're right. It really is.
Grab Paul if he's around the corner. Say Happy New Year. I'm going to grab Rick. Hold on. Here's Rick. He's going to come in.
Oh, hi, Rick. I see. It's an empty glass. I see the message.
He just came in from getting a massage for, speaking of sciatic stuff.
Self-care afternoon.
We all need that. I'm going to text Paul. Actually, I might have been trying
to. He can pop in, but hi to Glenna and Mariana and Jonathan. And let's see, Ruben. Hi, Mary. Hello. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you are joining us later, not live, still, we would love to, read your comments, your questions, anything, because we will be checking this video, and Judy, I know, will too, and answer your questions. And I do think Jonathan, it was interesting because Jonathan said he uses 3-pound weights, which I wanted to bring that up because I think that's really important that men are using small, lower weights too. You don't necessarily, it's not just for women to use 2 and 3 pound weights. This is for men too.
Absolutely. Because you can do more repetitions with smaller weights rather than trying to muscle your way through something. And I think Jonathan, who also watches our Sunday Funday shows, I recognize the name. Hi, Jonathan. He also does yoga. So I think that he's very much into staying in tune with your body and listening to your body. And as a result, you just feel everything works so much better. Everything's more fluid, It's almost like the oil can.
Well, and yoga is so good for stretching.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, because if we don't stretch, that's another really important thing to do, is stretching every day. Waking up and stretching, especially I know Rick's parents get up and they stretch every day, and they're in their late 70s, early 80s, because that's when things get tight and you start to feel the aches and pains if you're not stretching. So hi, Vicky. Hi, Judy. Hi, LaDawn. Oh, it's great to have all these people. So that's my mom, Judy. She's been using her 2 pound weights and doing your workouts.
Oh, that's great. You're going to, one of these days, Judy, you're going to have Judy Crowell arms just by using 2-pound weights.
Yeah, I'm wanting Judy Crowell arms.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's such a compliment when people would say that. How do you get those Judy Crowell arms? I said, really? Like, is that a thing?
It is for a lot of us. Oh, Rick's in here. He's on this side.
Hell, Judy, I want Judy Crowell arms.
It's like you already got him there, Rick.
Oh, funny. Oh, goodness. Well, thank you so much. I don't know if Paul's able to join us or not, but if not, that's okay.
I didn't see, he might have run an errand. We have had some construction going on in our
I
neighborhood.
know.
And there are a couple of things that are around the corner in the lawn that were like, oh, I don't know if when they resodded, if they covered up the little lawn heads, that come up to water the lawn. So he was going to do a reconnaissance. But before I leave you, do you have a pen and a pad of paper?
I do.
If anybody who's watching has a pen or pencil and a pad of paper, or you're real quick on your phone and you have your phone nearby, open up the notes category because I have something that I want to share with you.
Okay.
And I still want to write it down.
Love it.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. So I went, just like Rick had done, to try to work on my shoulder. I went to a massage therapist. And at the end of the session, they close the curtain and they say, okay, go ahead and get dressed and I'll have some water for you waiting on the other side. So I was getting dressed and he had gone to get the water and I was just kind of looking at the things on the wall. And there was one saying that was framed. And I said, I need to take a picture of that. I forgot to take a picture, but it stuck with me so firmly that I remembered it. So here it is. It's today. Live with all your breath, with all your laughter. I knew I'd get emotional if I tried to tell you this. With all your kindness.
Aww. You made me cry too.
And with all your heart.
Yes.
Put that on the refrigerator.
And read it every day.
And here's another one. One of the girls, Glenna, who said, my New Year's resolution, get Judy Crowell arms. That's so cute. I was looking at her page on Facebook one day because she and her sister LaDawn follow me too. And I love what her banner says. So write this one down too.
Okay.
Okay. The grass is greener where you water it.
Rick's loving it.
So it's not greener on the other side unless they're watering theirs more than you.
That's
so
right.
Take care of yourself and water that lawn and your grass will be greener.
That's
for
right.
2021.
Absolutely. What we think about, we create. Our intention is what is behind everything we do. So what is your intention for 2021?
Right.
Not just your resolution, but what is your intention behind it? What is the emotion? I call it the soul goal.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
What is that goal for you? And how can you honor your soul and follow your heart? And when you do that, everything's okay. It's when we don't follow our heart and we don't listen to what's right for us in our soul and we are focusing outside of ourselves. So,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever your wish for 2021, or maybe many, many wishes that you have, really just think about what is that intention for you. So,
And if you have that goal, do what I just suggested you do. Write it down, put it on a Post-it note and stick it on your bathroom mirror and look at it every day. Because when you remind yourself of what that goal is, where you want to be, where you see yourself, you leave it to the universe to allow it to come true. And then you make it come true because that is your focus. That is your intention. So I think when you visualize and you see it, if that helps you, which it's helped me many times throughout my life, put it on a Post-it note and read it every day.
Absolutely. Okay. You've just inspired me to do something. Everyone who likes my page, Michelle Phillips Beauty, and shares this, I'm going to give them a free copy of my book, The Beauty Blueprint, because the Beauty Blueprint is exactly what we're talking about. It's a step-by-step process. It's an easy process, but it will really help you create those affirmations for your life. Look at what's right with your life rather than what's wrong with your life, and really identify, rediscover, and uncover who you are.
Yes.
What you truly want, and then how to take those steps to create that life. And then at the end of the book, I give out my beauty advice. But you know what? I can't do beauty advice unless you really get in touch with who you are and start taking those steps to create the life you want. Then you project an image in alignment with who you are. And that's what you do so beautifully, Judy.
Oh,
and you're such a great friend to me. In fact, when I wrote the book, you're a big part of that.
Oh.
We even, when I was writing my manuscript and stuff, you read it and went through that process with me. It was really great. So
we were sitting on the plane next to each other one time, and you said, I'm finishing up my book, and I'm so excited because you had a publisher all lined up, and, and you were kind of hunkered down under your blanket and you were writing on the plane. I thought, oh, that's so exciting. So
I know, it was just
with you a lot of the process.
Oh, thank you. So if anyone wants a copy, please, share this broadcast and like the page. And of course, you guys can always reach out to me at michellephillips.com. And Judy, your website is?
Well, it's Judy Crowell Style on Facebook.
Okay.
And then it's Judy Crowell Style TV is the YouTube channel.
And I will put that on here as well in the comment section so everyone can go to your page. Oh, is Paul there?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Here he is to say hi.
I'm ready for my close-up.
Hi. Cheers. Happy New Year.
Where you been?
Cheers, you all.
I've been testing the beer.
Cheers.
It was cold enough.
And Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you, Judy. Great to see you, Paul. Love you too. And thank you all for joining us today. Again, please post more comments and questions. And we'll be tuning in to your Sunday Fun Day.
Sunday Fun Day.
Next week.
Thank you. Happy New Year. We'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.
New Year, guys.
Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye.